Hello, everyone. Hello. How's it going? Good morning. I hope everybody had like a great weekend. I hope everybody had like a bunch of fun. I hope all the different things that you needed for this week as soon as we get that going here. Sandra, are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here. Yes, I'm
Awesome.
here.
Awesome. I'm super, super excited. So, guys, again, I'll try not to talk or glow too much about Sandra, but you know, the first time I met her, it was actually at a fundraiser that I was hosting. It was for base camp. I was emceeing the event. It was at base camp, and I think was it Harbor Place or was that the other one?
Yeah, Harbor
Yeah,
Place. Hmm.
yeah, it's basically Heart Place, and so we were raising money for children who are women and abused children and a few other things, and she was running for judgeship, and so just kind of hearing somebody's passion about how much they care about people and other people and how they just kind of want to help the other man is one of the things that kind of help foster our friendship because we're pretty much we feel the same way. But one of the reasons why I asked her to come on here when she mentioned it to me, that I wanted you guys to understand what other folks' experiences are. We've heard from Sarah, we've heard from Angela, we've got Jennifer coming up on Wednesday, and so many of you guys are so excited about what it is. So I just thank you guys for coming on and sharing your experiences as well as you too, Sandra. So other than what I haven't already told a bunch of people, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are?
All right. I am an attorney that I've been practicing since about 2002, so going on 16 years.
All right.
Yeah, I do criminal defense, landlord tenant, and I did family law until I got wise to it and dropped that. No more family law.
Oh my
But
goodness.
no, and I have a 11-year-old son. I'm a single mom, and it's my pride and joy. And
Aw.
yeah, so I spent a lot of time with him. I try, obviously at work, and then I try and give some extra time to some other organizations, service organizations I'm involved with.
Okay. What are some of the what are some of the organizations that you try to help with?
The biggest one, I'm on the board for iDignity, which is basically an organization, it's a nonprofit that helps people restore their identity. So, if you've had to ever go get your license, you know what a pain it is to, get your birth certificate and get your social, and you got to get two
Right.
forms of residency. Well, for somebody who doesn't have a car or somebody who doesn't have resources or really the knowledge or the wherewithal to know how to navigate that system, it can be pretty difficult. So especially when a lot of people are transient, they don't, they have something in their past that made it difficult to get these documents. Maybe they were born at home in a small town. Maybe somebody stole all of their documents.
Okay.
Domestic violence victims. They had to leave the house with all of their
Wow.
without their documents. So we bring all of these agencies, from Social Security to the DMV to birth certificates, to help them get all of that together. And the goal is for them to walk out of there with their ID. So that's the biggest one.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great
Wow.
organization.
I didn't even know that. Well, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. Okay,
Hmm.
so getting back to everything that we're doing here with Curiosity Cadets, what was your, I guess, main interest? When did you first hear about Bitcoin? When did you become interested? I mean, if you want, you can tell the story about your brother, which is
Yeah.
directly related to the question, but what actually just generated your interest?
Okay, so this is not one of these things that I am constantly researching, but I kept seeing you post about it,
Okay.
and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? And then I would, just I would just, look online and look at stories, and I kept seeing people mentioning Bitcoin, and it really was just kind of, it fell into my lap. It wasn't anything that I was seeking out. I kept hearing the buzzword so often,
Right,
and
right.
and I thought I was on top of my game and, ahead of the game. And come to find out, this has been going on for like, what, 6, 7, 8 years.
Okay.
So I really just reached out to you out of curiosity. I didn't even have in my mind at the time, I didn't have in my mind that I was going to get involved with it. I was just, I'm a constant learner. I like learning new things. And I'm like,
Right.
all right, just tell me about it. What is it? I don't even understand what it is. So that's how I initially got interested in it. And then, you know, as you know, we sat down and you explained the whole thing to me, because that world, I'm not a tech junkie by any means. So that world was just beyond my comprehension. Yeah, you are. You definitely are.
Yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, and I'm going to ask you a different question here a little bit later. So if anybody, guys, if you have a question or whatsoever, you just want to ask her, by all means, you can do it, whether it's about cryptocurrency or her, or anything that she supports, guys, feel free to do that. You know, I was talking to someone this weekend about, you know, his name is Hector Marcano. He's the guy that owns Destino TV, and he works with iHeartMedia. Really good guy. And he sent me something that I was already in the process of researching. It was about, you know, this cryptocurrency that's coming to Puerto Rico, which I thought was pretty amazing. And I'll share some information with you a little bit about that. But and I said that to say this because there's a lot of things out there that people were doing in the way of cryptocurrency to actually helping, you know, as far as the relief efforts in Puerto Rico getting back. Because I just want to make sure that people don't forget that, you know, they're not a foreign country. They're American citizens, you know.
That's right.
Sometimes we forget about that. Like, it used to drive me nuts when I would see someone on TV. News media would refer to someone from Puerto Rico as a Puerto Rican immigrant. And I was just like, I'm like, wait a minute, like, what school did you go to? But, you know, I said all of that because their money is the U.S. dollar. Our money is the same thing. We're all brothers, you know, in this whole thing, you know, very similar to Guam. So what I wanted to share with you is, you know, just because this is right around the time a lot of us was coming back from Irma, and then we had to worry about what's going on. So just overall, what has your experience been like? Just being a member of the group, whether you're a fly on the wall, whether you contribute, like, what's been your experience?
Well, like I said, I love learning new things. So, I mean, the fact that I get to delve a little bit into this world of tech and currency, cryptocurrency, is exciting, because I you know, I feel like I'm enhancing myself. I'm improving myself. And it's nice because, you know, I see other people that respond on there, and they sound like they started where I am, didn't really have any working knowledge of what cryptocurrency was, and just kind of seeing that community of people learning something that, you know, has this potential future. So just really the knowledge that came away from it. It's not anything that I'm not at your level by any means, where I'm constantly, you know, watching the market and researching things, but I'm just kind of a spectator right now, and I'm learning it, and I'm kind of taking information in. I don't always understand it, but I'm taking it in and trying to improve my future, improve my son's future.
Okay, cool. So you've done the basics, right? You know, you invested, you know, in a different company. You know, we won't mention their name. You know, you're still growing your Bitcoin every day with that. You also, you know, you got started with Coinbase. You know, getting all of that set up. So we was able to help you get you know, situated with that. So I guess, you know, when you think about that, one thing you mentioned I thought was pretty cool, how you said that you saw there was a community of people learning things. You know, sometimes there's a lot of things where people, they get into this whole FOMO, where it's like their fear of missing out, which, by the way, no one should ever, fear of missing out should do one thing. It should intensify your desire to do research. You shouldn't just throw money at something that you don't understand. And I've always said this because this group was obviously a labor of love. And so one of the things I've always tried to get across to everybody in the group was simply this. You know, I want to make sure everybody's always protected and in profit. And how you protect yourself is with knowledge and understanding everything that's going on. You know, fear of missing out, again, that's great, and it's good to research everything. But also, you know, I want to make sure that people understand that, you know, don't ever do anything because you felt pressure. You know, nobody felt pressured about doing anything, and that's cool. And I love that in the community. But, you know, as far as, you know, taking information and doing anything with it, you know, how does that, I guess, correlate with you? Like, if there's one thing that sticks out in your mind, what would that one thing be?
From just being involved in the group?
Yeah, just being involved in the group.
You know, I think what I take away from it is, I have a tendency to feel intimidated in situations where I know the least or know very little. And it stunts me. It prevents me from asking those questions. Like, I don't want to ask a dumb question, you know? But that group you know, you have such varied levels of involvement and tech know-how that it doesn't, there is no feeling of intimidation in there. Like, you know, I've seen people ask the question like, what is Bitcoin? I mean, just as basic as you can get, what is Bitcoin? And then you see people who ask more in-depth, more intelligent, with more background. They obviously have done more research and know about it. So I think that is the biggest thing. I'm not a risk taker by any means. It's not in my personality. It just isn't. You know, I am naturally skeptical of everything. So I wasn't,
No,
I didn't jump into
this.
Trade
of lawyers, would it?
No, not at all. No.
Oh, okay.
Job security. So I'm not one to just jump into everything and, you know, guns blazing and say, all right, let's see what happens. I'm very calculated about what I do, and I'm very conservative about how much I get involved. So being in that group has allowed me to, you're right. There's absolutely no pressure. I've never felt pressured. And, you know, my modest investment is, you know, makes me feel comfortable. And, you know, I get the same amount of attention, the same amount of help that somebody who, you know, invested thousands and thousands of dollars. So it is, you know, it really is at your comfort level, you know, your investment ability. So that's what I like about it. You know, I've been involved with situations where people like want you to get involved and put all of this money and put all of this effort and, you know, start going out there and telling everybody about it. And you just, you know, it makes you naturally want to back off because it's too much all at once.
Right. So, yeah, and I can understand that. And I think that was one of the things that I want people to understand too about the group is that, guys, listen, this is not something that you need to go out and recruit a bunch of family and friends. This is not like, you know, Currency Cadets was birthed from Premier Strategy Partners, my marketing firm. We decided to open up another educational side of it so that way people could understand what's going on. And then once you understand the information, then you can do what you want with it. You know, I absolutely love network marketing. I love direct sales, and under certain circumstances, maybe even the right MLM. But that's me, and everybody's not like that. And so I wanted to make sure that people understand that when we talk about in the group, it's, there are a few things that are affiliate based, and there's some things that are just not. They're pure customer based. But what I try to do is I try to look for things that I've completely vetted. Like I've looked at it. Can I verify? Can I go to this person? You know, am I getting this information from a trusted source? And I even asked the group members to call me out, like cross-verify. That is something I have, because we're not as a group going to be we're not going to be the very first one. We'll probably be one of the first, but not the first one with groundbreaking news as it pertains to what's going on with a particular cryptocurrency that's debuting in an ICO, whether the legacy ones like Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash. But I will guarantee you that as best I can, I will always try to have the most accurate information in the group at the time that I get it. And if I have to go back and delete something, to go back and edit something, or even update something, I will always do that. So, it's really good to hear you say things like you didn't feel pressure, you didn't feel have to go out and recruit a bunch of people, because that was something that I didn't want to have happen, in this group. So so I'll ask you this question. I always ask a few of these questions. Again, guys, if any of you have any questions for Sandy or Sandra, until you guys know you can call her Sandy, if you guys have any questions for her or whatsoever, do not hesitate. Just ask her anything. She's pretty open. As you can see, guys, she's definitely a fun person. And I like to surround myself with fun people like most of you are in this group. But if somebody came and said, hey, listen, I heard you were in this group, hey, I saw your Facebook Live, then maybe, because this is probably going to happen. I saw your Facebook Live where you were tagged on some Facebook page with Currency Cadets. What is that like? What is it like about being in, what is Currency Cadets? What is that like? Like, what would you tell somebody that was just asking you about that if they want to know what has you so excited about being a member? It's an educational forum, and it's an opportunity to get into, I guess, for lack of a better word, the investment world, to be a part of something that you can see a future in it. It's on the cutting edge, and the more I started hearing people talking about it, it's like as soon as I got involved, then all of a sudden I'm hearing even more stories. So it's kind of one of those, you think about a car that you want, and all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere.
So
Right.
maybe it was always there, and I just, because I had no working knowledge of it whatsoever, it, I kind of glossed over it, didn't even think about it.
Right.
So it's nice because, you hear a lot of people talk about their reservations, or, the skeptics, my brother-in-law included, sending me stories of, oh, Bitcoin got, or not crashed, but they got busted into and hacked or whatever. And, what do you think about this? Everybody's always trying to make you feel dumb about the decision that you made.
Right. It always happens because they
Yeah.
don't. And I say this too, and I'm going to ask you a question about the legal profession and how this affects that. I'm actually doing a lunch and learn at the Citrus Club. So if anybody's in Central Florida and you want to come to this, just go to our public page, Currency Cadets, and click on the events, and go ahead and register there for that event. And if you are a Currency Cadets member or a Cadet Club member, send me a private message and I'll give you a promo code so you can get a severely discounted rate as far as your registration is concerned. But, one of the things that I thought was pretty interesting is you hear a lot now about smart contracts, and there are a lot of attorneys, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with that industry as far as IP is concerned, or even smart contracts, because you do a different type of law. But, blockchain technology and the way these contracts are going to be self-executing, like, how much of that have you already heard about anyway, as far as, or have you just not heard, just like, surprise?
Yeah. dumping that on me now. No, I haven't heard of smart contracts. So, in the legal profession, it's so easy to get stuck in how we've always done things. I still have a hard time typing notes on the computer. I'm so used to with my legal pad and writing notes. So, that to see that kind of progress in the law is exciting, but I know that it's going to meet its challenges and its obstacles because we're just so ingrained with, everything is on paper and we need to see it. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, we need to see, if we don't see it, we can't prove it, so
right.
Overcoming that mentality. But yeah,
Right.
It's interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Okay, cool beans. So I guess, and again, this, being 11 o'clock, a lot of people, that it isn't quite their lunch break yet. So I want to just kind of remind you might start getting some questions whenever they're watching the replay of this, through the group or on the public page, what have you. But one thing I guess I would kind of maybe ask you this, from being in Currency Cadets, what is one thing, and it can be more than one, but I would say the main thing, and feel free to add more if you feel so inclined, but what is the one thing that you want to really get out of being a member in Currency Cadets long term? What would you love to see happen?
In terms of my own personal goal, I want to be able to answer those skeptics. I want to be knowledgeable enough that, I don't need to be a pro at it, but I want to be able to say when somebody comes at me with, but what about this? And did you hear about this? I want to be able to know enough that I can respond to that intelligently so that I feel, conversely, that my decision was an intelligent one. Secondary to that, or maybe not even secondary, maybe the primary goal is, the whole reason I got into this was not because like I said, I'm not a tech junkie. I'm not motivated by being extremely wealthy, but I have an 11-year-old son and I'm trying to set up a future for him. And, the legal profession isn't always secure. It's a lot of hustling. It's a lot of up and downs. And you have to figure out ways to supplement that, especially when you have kids. So I've got him going to college in 7 years. He has needs. Right. I want to make sure that I'm setting up his future. My parents set up a future for me and they provided what they could for me. I want to do better than that. I want him to see his mother hustling, in the workplace right. and in my personal life, So that's
awesome. That's awesome. So guys, I want to take this time because I like to try to keep to my guns, and I want to keep it at 20 minutes. So for those of you that are watching the replay, go ahead and put your comments or questions in here, and I'm sure that we'll get these done. But and Sandra, it's so hard for me to call you Sandra. I'm calling you Sandy all this time.
You can call me Sandy.
But Sandy will answer them if you have them. Guys, if you don't, ask a question, whatever, just take the information, guys, to understand that, everybody has different motivations for this, but, we're real people in this group. And, and thank you, Sandy, for coming on and allowing me to show other people that are in this group that are learning and growing and earning, that isn't just me and the whole and everything else involved. So thank you so much.
We're normal people.
There you go. And thank you guys, cadets. So if any of you cadets want to share a similar experience, just reach out to me, post it in the group or this video. And if you get a chance to, guys, go to facebook.com/currency cadets and, give us a review, like our page. We love to hear from you. Thank you so much, Sandy.
Bye. Have a good one.